Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today we're embarking on an epic journey through Earth's catastrophic history. You know, when you look up at the night sky, it's so easy to see the universe as this peaceful, distant, quiet place. But the reality? Our planet's history is written in immense, cataclysmic collisions from space. Today, we're going to look closely at the hidden architecture of destruction and rebirth that literally shaped the ground we walk on. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. It's a question you've probably asked yourself while looking up at a full moon. The moon's surface is completely battered, right? It's dotted with thousands of dark spots and craters. But when we look around Earth, everything seems relatively smooth, pristine almost. Well, the shocking truth is that Earth is actually a moving target in space, and it's been hit just as hard, if not harder. Our planet is completely covered in massive, ancient impact craters. They're just hidden, buried beneath oceans, deep forests, and of course, the wearing down of time.
To truly appreciate what we're about to explore, you need to visualize the sheer scale of these events. I want you to imagine a rock the size of Mount Everest. Got it? Now, imagine that colossal mountain hurtling through the vacuum of space and slamming into our planet at thousands of kilometers per hour. The results are, well, they're simply beyond human comprehension. In an instant, entire regions are wiped from existence. The heat is so intense that the oceans literally boil. The debris thrown up turns the skies completely black. It is pure, unimaginable terror.
Act 1. The Ancient Giant, the Vredefort crater in South Africa.
2 billion. That's the number of years we're traveling back in time to examine the oldest and largest confirmed impact crater on the planet. To give you some context, Earth was a vastly different place back then. Complex life as we know it didn't even exist yet. Life on our planet consisted only of tiny, microscopic, simple cells just floating around in the ancient waters. And then, the sky fell.
15. That is the size, in kilometers, of the asteroid that crashed into what is now South Africa. A relatively small, 15-kilometer-wide rock slamming into the Earth's crust, yet causing absolute sheer devastation.
We humans often think of our modern nuclear weapons as the absolute pinnacle of destructive power. But when you compare our most powerful nuclear bombs to the Vredefort impact, human weapons don't even register. The Vredefort explosion was millions, yes, literally millions of times more powerful than any nuclear weapon humanity has ever created.
So, the crucial point is looking at the aftermath. A crater roughly 300 kilometers wide. It's so gargantuan that you literally cannot comprehend its true shape while standing on the ground. You have to travel all the way up to space to see the full ring of the impact. Over the last 2 billion years, constant wind and rain have slowly erased its sharp edges, smoothing out the landscape. Yet, for geologists, this crater remains an incredible open book revealing the deep, violent history of our Earth. Act 2. The Unexpected Gift. The Sudbury Basin in Canada. We're now shifting our narrative from pure destruction to an incredible twist of fate, moving forward to 1.5 billion years ago. The target this time? North America. A massive comet struck the Earth with such unfathomable force that it completely melted the planet's outer layer in that region. For a long time after the impact, this area was a hellish, nightmarish landscape of raging fire and bubbling molten lava.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the aftermath. Because that comet hit with enough kinetic energy to literally melt the Earth's crust, it caused boiling, liquid precious metals from deep within the Earth to rise up to the surface and pool right in the crater. Fast forward to today, and that exact spot is where a huge percentage of the world's nickel and copper is mined. This catastrophic strike literally brought the Earth's deep treasures right to the surface, forming a massive, foundational part of Canada's modern economy.
The people who live and work in the Sudbury region today often say, "We live on a space gift." It perfectly captures the incredible irony of our planet's history, doesn't it? An event that was literal hell on Earth, a world-ending explosion of fire and lava, eventually cooled down to become an economic blessing that supports thousands of families today.
Act 3. The Great Reset. The Chicxulub crater in Mexico.
We're now approaching the most famous and arguably most consequential impact in the history of our planet. Picture the world 65 million years ago. Mammals, like us, nowhere to be found. Dinosaurs absolutely ruled the Earth. They were massive, unimaginably strong, and as the apex predators, they must have seemed completely invincible. They dominated the globe for millions of years. But as it turns out, space doesn't care about kings.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true nature of the apocalypse. It wasn't just the initial fiery blast of the Chicxulub asteroid that doomed the dinosaurs. It was the chain of extinction that followed.
First, the impact throws up unimaginable amounts of dust and dirt. This debris completely blocks out the sun, plunging the entire Earth into deep darkness for years. Without sunlight, the plants die off. Once the plants die, the massive herbivores have nothing to eat and they starve. And finally, the mighty carnivores, the apex predators, run out of prey and perish. It is a terrifying, perfect domino effect. And the devastation wasn't just on land. The sheer force of the asteroid slamming into the ocean sent gigantic, towering tsunamis rippling outward, swallowing the coastlines of the largest continents. And yet, if you visit Mexico today, you won't see a giant smoking hole in the ground. The Chicxulub crater is hidden from plain sight. Half of it lies buried beneath the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, and the other half is buried deep beneath the lush land of the Yucatan Peninsula.
Conclusion: the ultimate what if, a cosmic game of timing.
I want to leave you with a thought that is both haunting and deeply profound. The universe is a game of terrifying precision. Scientists actually believe that if the Chicxulub asteroid had been traveling just slightly differently, if it had arrived just a few minutes later, or struck just slightly to the left or right, hitting deep ocean instead of the shallow, sulfur-rich crust of Mexico, the global dust cloud might not have been as severe. The dinosaurs might have survived the blast. And if those massive reptiles had kept their throne, human beings, you and I, would likely never have evolved to exist at all. We are, quite literally, the children of a cosmic accident. Keep that in mind the next time you look up at the stars. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.